Hello everyone. My hair just looks so interesting today. Okay, I'm just gonna give you why does my hair look so funny? It looks better in real life, I promise. Sometimes I feel like the camera just it doesn't see the magic that you see. But I'm gonna give you guys a second to all come in. I'm very excited for today's live. Hello everyone. I'm just gonna give everyone a second to come in. Hi Yvette. Hi Vanessa. Do I have something here? Or is that just my gray hair? I get a hella gray hairs lately. Which is fine, it's whatever, you know, it's life. Alright. Since I see that you guys are coming in. Oh, good morning from Hawaii. Love Hawaii. It's so beautiful. Never been myself, but I know a few people that live out there. And I have some clients that live out there as well, that I met through my personal readings and all of that. So today's live is all about synchronicities in a twin flame journey. The fascinating language of the universe. So yeah, are you guys talking to the universe right now? Because let me tell you that once I got my twin flame, I started talking to the universe every day, okay? And the universe started responding. And we're not gonna do a get ready with me because if you don't know, right now in Florida, the whole state is being threatened by this giant storm. And so it is horrible outside right now. And you can tell by my hair, I was like, there's no point in doing my hair and makeup because in an hour, it's just gonna look horrible anyways. Yeah, if you're in Florida, you know what I'm talking about. So we're not gonna do that today. But we are going to be doing a mukbang. Hi, Allie. Good to see you again. Thank you for making it today. Okay. This is what we're going to be eating. This is an acai bowl with a bunch of stuff like honey, flax seeds, all these fruits. And if you really know, you know that I don't pay to put, you know, $3 extra for almond butter. I got almond butter on deck at home. So we're gonna do that. Actually, before we do that, this is for the people who know. The girlies who get it, and the ones who don't. Okay? Cinnamon. So I'm super excited. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain, but we're just gonna do this. We're gonna add some cinnamon. I love cinnamon. And I have like chronic do this. Gonna add some cinnamon. I love cinnamon. And I have like chronic. Oh my god. I love almond butter. I know some people will say don't put too much, whatever. I don't restrict myself with food, you know, unless it's something that's gonna make me feel inflamed or bad. So I technically do have foods that I don't eat ever, but it's literally because I will just get painful chronic inflammation issues. If you have chronic inflammation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you don't, that's okay. You know, just be thankful that you don't have to deal with it. But yeah, so this is kind of, so the foods that I can eat, I don't limit myself with, but the foods that I don't, or I cannot eat, you know. Anyways, I'm going to shut up now. And actually, before we get into this presentation, I was rewatching one of my lives and I realized you guys did not call me out on this, but I'm gonna forgive you this time. But instead of saying, wait, so I've been saying physiology when I didn't really mean to say physiology. Okay, I've been meaning to say philosophy, not physiology. Not to say that physiology can't be, you know, an important thing to learn about. I'm just saying I was completely saying it wrong. I meant to say philosophy. So if you look at my previous lives and you hear me saying physiology, I actually mean philosophy. Because physiology, I believe, is the study of like your body and how the environment affects your body and all that stuff. I went to school. My major was biochemistry. So I know a little bit about physiology, but not body and all that stuff. I went to school. My major was biochemistry. So I know a little bit about physiology, but not. How are you doing? I just noticed that you're here. Hello. I was just thinking about you the other day. But anyways, yes, if you are new here, my name is Soledad. You guys can call me Sol. That is S-O-L. And this is day 12 of Livemas. And if you didn't know, we are doing 21 days of twin flame connections as part of Livemas. What's in this bowl? Strawberries, pineapples, bananas, coconut flakes, bee pollen, flax seeds. This is acai, and we've got some vegan granola. I didn't pick this out, honestly. It was on sale. It was a buy one get one, and I was like, I love a good deal. So, and I think there's blueberries, coconut flakes. That's about it. Yeah, your girl. Oh, and like hemp seeds, I think, and whatever the granola has, like some stuff in there. Yeah, this we're gonna get into this. What was I saying? Okay, so explaining Livemas really quickly. Livemas is really designed to help you guys identify if you are in a twin flame connection, and even if you're not in a twin flame connection, I really wanted to help you guys better navigate and attract true divine love and understand soulmates, divine counterparts, twin flames, karmics, so that you can really, better understand, navigate, and attract the true divine love that you desire. If you don't know who I am at all, if this is your first time ever seeing me, I am a tarot card reader. I've done over 500 personal readings alone this year. I specialize in love readings. So a lot of my clients, we talk about twin flame journeys, soulmates, karmic connections, and I also do past life connection or past life soul regression readings. Those have been really interesting. And I am writing a book on twin flames. This is the sample copy. This book is going to be out January 2024, and unlike the other books out there right now, my twin flame book is a guide opposed to January 2024, and unlike the other books out there right now, my twin flame book is a guide opposed to twin flame ideology has affected ancient civilizations all the way to the turn of the century. We go through very significant spiritual concepts, and it's also a tracking journal. So there's prompts, there's shadow work. It teaches you about manifestation, meditation, exercises. So it is very interactive, and it will give you all the base knowledge you need to not only identify if you're in a twin flame connection, if you are, better navigate it, but if you're not, how can you attract love and manifest, right? So that's what my book's about. Again, if you are interested, it is not out just yet, but it will be out January 2024, and you can sign up for updates and exclusive discounts using the link in my bio, which should be direct.me/Soledadtarot. All right, so what are you going to learn today? Today, we're going to be going into what synchronicities are, right? You need to have the base knowledge of what it is that you're experiencing outside of twin flame connections so that you can understand how it relates to the twin flame journey. So we're going to be going into the scientific, psychological origins and how this concept has been developed through a more philosophical, spiritual perspective. I'm going to teach you how you can really identify synchronicities and angel numbers in your life. We're going to talk about some of the common and unique synchronicities that you will experience in a twin flame journey and what they could mean and what the purpose is. I'm going to teach you how you can not go insane, right? Because synchronicities is one of the most maddening parts of the twin flame journey from my experience personally and experiences that I've had with, again, over 500 clients have come to me with these kinds of circumstances, and how to connect with your angels. Yes, Andrea, it can really make you feel crazy, okay? It can make you feel cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So, and how to identify your angel numbers and what they mean. You know that if you've been following Livemas, I like to read little excerpts of my book, but also I like to reference the shadow work journal. So we're going to be doing a little bit of both. And I'm also going to be giving you some prompts to help you identify synchronicities in your life and what they could mean. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait to continue sharing this information with you guys. Yes, so I'm gonna take a few bites of this because your girl is hungry, and yeah, it's a mukbang, right? So we're gonna eat. I know once you mix it up it looks gross, but it's still so good. I feel like they didn't give me a big enough bowl because this is deep and they really stacked it. If you're in Miami, this is from... Where did I get this? This isn't even near me. It was just on sale and I was like, I'm gonna get it. So I think it's called Rio del Sol. Oh my god. I've been fasting. So, you know, when you've been fasting and you come out of a fast, the first bite of food is always so good. I honestly can't wait for you guys to have this book. I want to hear your feedback. I'm so excited to put this out because if you've been keeping up with me for the past year, I've been working on that book since August. I mean, the idea has been in me since I started working as a psychic, but I really started putting the design and, you know, writing out the chapters and working on it almost every single day since August of this year. This is so freaking delicious. It is very sensitive to sugar. Although I love chocolate, I'm really sensitive to it, so I can't really have a lot too fast. So I'm gonna take a break really quickly. And let's get into synchronicities. So if you haven't heard of the Higher Self podcast with Sahara Rose, she did an episode called, I think it was called, like, Are You Seeing the Signs? Synchronicities Explained by Science or something like that, right? And she interviewed Robert Grant, who I believe he's like a metaphysicist. He's very famous for his work on Gaia. And I'm actually going to look this way because I have some notes about some quotes I took from them. I'm going to reference some of their theories from that podcast throughout today's live, but it's not gonna all, like, you know, it's a great podcast episode. I would recommend you guys go see it. Sahara just has a beautiful way of explaining her experience and sharing her message, and I've always been a fan, so I wanted to reference it in case you guys wanted to go and do further research on your own, because we're not going to get to cover or go that deeply the way they did, because again, this is more focused on twin flames and divine love, right? But Robert describes synchronicities, or learning about your path and synchronicities, is almost a Morse code in order for you to communicate between the veils of the realms, right? And by realms, we mean this 3D world and the higher realms, right? So 4D, 5D, and so forth. And so the veil that's between us is the forgetfulness, right? When we incarnate into this life, we basically have amnesia. We forget our past lives. We forget who we were. We forget we even have a soul, right? And so I did take a quote from Sahara, and she says, when you experience coincidences, little signs that feel like the universe is talking to you, maybe a number or numbers follow you around, like in license plates or other people's shirts, or maybe you feel like myself. You just feel like you're in constant communication with the universe. And I thought that was so well put, so I had to take that quote from her. And she also talks about how synchronicities can come up in conversations that maybe don't mean anything in the moment, but they're actually preparing you for something that is coming up. So it's very much intertwined in your higher self, your guides, your subconscious mind talking to your conscious self, right? So it's a way for you to connect with not only the universe, but yourself. And I think that's the beautiful thing about synchronicities. And if you've ever experienced them, you know that once you start paying attention to the signs, they come in hard, okay? And a lot of the times it can be overwhelming. So we're going to talk about how you don't go insane in that way later on in the live. But for right now, let's talk about synchronicities from a scientific, psychological point of view, because the whole synchronicities, the term and the concept, was coined by Carl Jung. And if you don't know who Carl Jung is, let me show you guys. He is considered like the father of shadow work. This is him right here. I hope you guys are seeing that. So we're going to read this page. This is from the Shadow Work Journal. Highly recommend. It's linked on my TikTok shop and in my Amazon storefront, which is linked in bio. And don't worry, if you are trying to ignore the signs but that's not working, I'm gonna teach you a better way than just ignoring the signs to help you. And so the father of shadow work, Carl Jung. The concept of the shadow was first developed by Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Jung. Jung believed that exploring the shadow was essential for personal growth and individuation. Why am I having issues pronouncing that word? When English is not your first language, I'm just here like, I want to say it in Spanish, but anyways, let's move forward. The process of becoming one's authentic self, right? The shadow refers to the unconscious parts of our psyche that contain our repressed thoughts, feelings, and impulses, and it is the side of ourselves that we reject or hide from others, and often ourselves. However, these repressed aspects of ourselves can still influence our behavior and emotional states, right? So when you're not even acknowledging a part of yourself, whether it's your shadow or these synchronicities that are being shown to you, you're not in control. So what's it doing? It's running havoc, right? So this is why it's important to acknowledge and to change so that you can have more control of these things and you don't feel like they're controlling you. All right. Yes, this will be on my YouTube, by the way. Every single episode of Life Miss is going to be on my YouTube. I have a whole playlist so that you guys can find it really easily. And all right, so yeah, basically in psychology, a synchronicity is defined as an occurrence of meaningful coincidences that seem to have no cause. So the coincidences are acasual, right? And so this underlying idea of unity and diversity was again coined by Carl Jung. And this is an old concept. He introduced this concept in the 1950s, so it's been around for a while. All right. So now that we understand where it comes from, who created it, and the psychological benefits and uses for this term and synchronicity, and you know that you're not alone and that you're not crazy, that this is an actual science that affects you and everybody, right? Everybody can see this. So how does this in turn affect spirituality? So how does spirituality further add on to the conversation? And it's important because spirituality added onto this conversation, which is already based in psychology, right? It answers why some people find synchronicities to be sort of a comfort and guidance, while others may view them as random occurrences with really no inherent guidance or value or significance, right? And this is because ultimately the meaning of synchronicities is subjective and individualized, right? It's an individual's experience. So a synchronicity that can mean one thing for me may mean something different to you or may not mean anything to you at all. And that's totally okay. It is meant to be a very custom, individualized experience, right? So it's just for you. And so here are some of the spiritual purposes that you may resonate with. But before we get into some of those purposes and spirituality and synchronicities, I'm going to eat a little bit more. And I might be doing a Q&A today. I'm not sure, just because I have to go get my nails done with my mom. And the only time they could fit me in was literally like right after this live, so I'm gonna have to rush, and it's raining, and so I might not have time to do the Q&A today, but I'm gonna try my best to. So good. What are you guys eating right now? I was also having some mate. I can watch that acai for you. That's funny. You guys are funny. I love when the acai bowl gets to this texture, this is like the perfect texture for me. Now it looks ugly, I guess, but I love mixing it all up. I'm eating an acai bowl with lots of fruits and toppings. If you missed it when you watched the replay, I explain everything that's in it. Alright, so, oh my back. Okay. See, I feel like these baby hairs also, they always bother me, but I can't do anything about it. What are we gonna do? Let me get comfortable. Do you guys want to see Booba real quick? I know some of you really care. Hold up. Oh, look at him. He just rolled up. I have a blanket over my main like comforter so that his hairs, and he can just sleep on there, right? That's his blanket. But anyways. So, here are some spiritual purposes that may resonate with you when you are experiencing synchronicities. So the number one is spiritual guidance, right? A little bit obvious there. And so many people can interpret synchronicities as a form of guidance from a higher power, whatever you believe in, right? Whether you're spiritual, religious, or somewhere in the middle, whether you believe in the universe, but it is also a way for you to connect with your higher self. And some people believe that these synchronicities can provide insights and give you signs that you are on the right path. And they can also serve as confirmations or even affirmations that you are on the right track. So that's one way that synchronicities can provide purpose to you and spiritual guidance in your life. Another one is through awakenings and transformation. So if you're going through a spiritual awakening, or if you're really focused on self-help, self-transformation, then synchronicities can be a wonderful tool and can be sometimes viewed as catalysts to spiritual awakenings. I experienced that as well. And of course, personal transformation that comes with spiritual awakening. So encountering something like a meaningful synchronicity or coincidence that can actually help trigger a shift in consciousness within yourself and promoting almost this openness to reevaluating your own beliefs, values, and life choices, right, for the better. And then, of course, another obvious one is connection to the divine. And so synchronicities are often used as evidence to some people, right? Personal evidence of a higher power, a divine plan, or even some type of cosmic order, universal cosmic order that we're all a part of, right? So that's that unity and diversity concept that we talked about earlier. Some spiritual traditions hold these occurrences as a way that the divine communicates with individuals. We see this in the Bible all the time, right? Angels sending you messages and synchronicities. But of course, they offer guidance, assurance, and comfort, which is the most beautiful thing, right? And I go deeper in my book about other spiritual purposes for synchronicities and how they relate to the twin flame journey. But I did want to talk a little bit about the philosophical meanings behind synchronicities, because spiritually, I feel like there's more of a consensus as to the guidance and the connecting with the higher self and, you know, being part of something bigger than yourself, right? But in a philosophical perspective, it really does get interesting, because unlike spiritual and psychological and scientific perspectives, philosophical is really more based on what you believe in and what questions you want to have answered, right? So they can be interpreted in many ways. I'm going to share a few. Again, I go a lot deeper in my book. So if you want to go deeper on that, then obviously you can sign up for updates there. So philosophical ways. We have there's always a lot of questions about our interconnectedness, right? Deep interconnectedness. And so synchronicities in a philosophical perspective can suggest a deeper non-linear connection between events, challenging a purely deterministic or mechanistic worldview per se. And so this idea kind of aligns and emphasizes interconnectedness, especially if you're into holistic views, right? Or I forgot how to pronounce it. I think it was called like panphysicism, something like that. If you know, you know. Okay. And yeah, if you sign up using the link in my bio, you can get updates as to when the book is getting released, and you can get exclusive discounts so that when it's released, you can get, you know, maybe like 10-15% off depending on what we're doing, and anything related to the book only. So we're not going to get your information and send you stuff about irrelevant things or sell your information at all. The updates are exclusively for anything relating to the book and when it will be published. So you'll really be the first to know. I just saw somebody comment that, so I wanted to take a moment to quickly answer it. And obviously with anything philosophical, it is really subjective. And so synchronicities can highlight a subjective aspect of the human experience and the role of these meanings in our lives. And so like phenomenons, for example, or why can't I pronounce that word? Oh my God, today I've just been stuck on words. Existentialism. There we go. Pronounce your words. And so if you are, you know, into philosophy and you know about these terms, then you would understand how they can kind of relate to how individuals assign significance to events and impact these subjective meanings on their overall worldview. So that's a little bit about the philosophical thing. We go deeper in the book. We talk about transcendence of time, archetypal patterns like we see in Jungian philosophy, you know, emphasizing the existence of archetypal symbols and patterns and collective unconsciousness. Yes, so we go way deeper. Cause and effect reasoning, the race of these questions, the knowledge, the understanding. So that's why I love adding philosophy into it, because I think it really broadens the conversation. All right, so now that we kind of understand the scientific, spiritual, psychological origins and how the conversation can expand with philosophy, let's move into some of the common synchronicities that you will experience in a twin flame journey and what they could mean. So unique to the twin flame journey, and you guys can tell me in the comments if you are experiencing these things or have experienced these things. First of all, you will have a base core value with your twin flame. So for example, if you're both very studious, or both very, for example, if you really believe in being a morning person, even if you don't feel like you're naturally a morning person, you have the value of, if I don't get up early, then I can't get anything done, right? So, and this is a base value that you will figure out that you have in common, or it will just naturally align with that person's lifestyle already. So that also brings up, you know, how you're able to easily understand each other because you have the same core values, even if they manifest in different ways. Similar upbringings and surrounding people. So for example, if you're a twin, maybe your twin flame also is a twin. Or if you're the youngest of 4, maybe your twin flame is also the youngest of 4. And maybe you have 3 sisters and they have 3 older brothers, right? So that's how they can kind of be similar. You can also have a synchronicity in connecting locations, travel spots, cities, countries. So maybe you're living in the neighborhood that their best friend grew up in or something like that, right? Being into the same movies, hobbies, or other weird quirks, especially things that you are, like for example, let's say you're really into Harry Potter, right? And you randomly send your twin flame a meme of Harry Potter, and then you guys realize, oh damn, you're also really obsessed with Harry Potter. Okay, so that could be a similarity in quirks or hobbies or even mannerisms that you guys have in common, and that you find out as you're deepening that connection. Maybe you have a similar nickname or behaviors that others notice and call you out on. So if you're very serious or studious, maybe your friends call you like boring, like playfully, right? Or maybe they call you like, something that I get a lot is I get called the mom of the group. So maybe you and your twin flame also have that same feedback. And there is a purpose to the madness, right? Other common synchronicities that are not really unique to twin flames, but can happen either way in twin flame connections, and can happen in connection to any part of your spiritual growth or self-transformation journey, would be like music, getting sign synchronicities through music, initials, lyrics, symbols in your dreams, sceneries, okay? Numbers, obviously repeating numbers, angel numbers, conversations, book quotes. So something to remember is that your angels, the universe, are going to send you signs in ways that you know you will receive them. So don't dismiss the signs. For example, let's say you are somebody who comes home and likes to scroll on TikTok for an hour. If you start seeing angel numbers on the videos that you normally watch, don't dismiss that as, oh, it's just the algorithm or something, right? Because your angels are like, oh, that's what you like to do. You hang out on your phone. So we're going to send you signs and synchronicities on your phone, right? Don't expect to get a sign randomly out of nowhere in a park, because you never go to the park. So they would never send it to you in a park, right? Unless you happen to go to one and you talk to your angels, and you know, that's a whole nother thing, is connecting with your angels, which we're going to be discussing as well. So yeah, so what are the purposes of these synchronicities in a twin flame connection? One is openness and awareness. So recognizing and appreciating the synchronicities does require a certain level of openness and awareness, and the universe is going to prepare you for these things. That's another common theme in synchronicities, not only in twin flame journeys, but in general, is a preparation for what is to come, right? So those are more attuned with subtle connections and subtle synchronicities between events and symbols that you're more likely to notice and derive meaning from these occurrences, right? The second one is trusting in the unseen, especially if you're going through a spiritual awakening and it gets intensified by your twin flame. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Trusting and staying aligned on the path, right? Even just in manifesting. One of the biggest lessons for manifesting is being able to trust even when you can't see your manifestations, right? So interpreting these synchronicities, it often does involve a higher level of trusting and faith in the unseen, and embracing, right, a more expansive view of reality. So it implies that there's a belief in the interconnectedness, not only of all things and of your twin flame, but the willingness to see beyond the limits of conventional cause and effect thinking. Okay, so sometimes we think because this or that, but we fail to realize that the black and white isn't always true. There's a lot of gray area in life, and it's all interconnected. Alrighty then, I'm going to take another bite, and then we're going to get into how identifying your synchronicities and all about angel numbers. I saw you guys had some questions about angel numbers, so we're going to get into it because it's super important. But I want to eat this before it gets too melty, you know? How are you guys enjoying this so far? I'm glad you're here too. Whoop, whoop. My name is Sol. I can only see your username, Kashmir. Is that what it is? But I've been seeing your comments. I'm gonna answer your question. So 5555. Yes, SOL. 5555. So 5 is the number of the transformation, big changes in numerology. However, if we're looking from a tarot perspective, 5 is the number of the Hierophant, the number, or the 5th major arcana. And yeah, so they can represent big changes, uncomfortable changes, breaking out of conformity, transformation. Yeah. 1111. So I actually have a whole section about these common synchronicities, and we go into 1111, 2222, 3333. We do it all in this book, so that's also something that you guys can look forward to. And 5 can also have significance. For example, I was born in May, so sometimes, you know, they can have significance. You can also think of like what happened 5 years ago, things like that. So again, it's very individualized, but the more you learn about it, the more you can make the connections for yourself. The live won't open? Are we good, you guys? That tarot deck is so good. I have all my tarot stuff over there. Should I do a tarot collection video, you guys? I think that would be so much fun. Because my collection has grown a lot. We got 2 shelves full. I know, they're so cute. Thank you. I'm going to be changing the color to purple. I'm going to do some purple vibes. What was your first deck? Did you have like an oracle deck or like a more traditional deck? And I'm eating a side bowl, by the way. Okay. Let's get into how you can identify synchronicities and angel numbers in your life. So, I did kind of already touch on this earlier, but Robert Grant does talk about how your higher self and your subconscious mind is constantly sending you these signs and messages to your reality so that they can communicate with your conscious mind, right? So synchronicities are just a way of communication. And the best way to know that if you are getting a synchronicity, right, if you're seeing a number that's constantly showing up, or you're constantly waking up at a certain time, or you're constantly seeing, you know, a specific color, hearing a lyric, all that stuff. Angel numbers are probably the most common type of synchronicity and the most important, right? You need to prove yourself right or wrong. So if you are skeptical, prove yourself wrong. If you are leaning into it, prove yourself right. Track your synchronicities. I promise you it is going to be worth it. Because when you realize that you're seeing somebody's birthday 100 times a day, that is not normal. The probability of that happening is very high. There's a video on TikTok where somebody explains the probability of seeing, for example, 1111 multiple times a day, and how low, the probability is for that to be a normal occurrence in your life. You need to prove yourself right or wrong depending on where you are, right? If you're having doubts, prove yourself wrong. If you're on it, prove yourself right. And you can track your synchronicities as much as counting them, and then you're going to lose count, because trust me, I've done this where I'm like, oh, this or that, right? And again, we're not searching for these things. They're happening in our experience and we're noticing them. Note them on your phone, have a little journal, or go home and note them if you can, right? I say phone because it's your phone. You can take photos, you can send yourself a message every time you get a synchronicity, what the synchronicity is, what it means to you. So that's how you can identify which are the common synchronicities that you're seeing, is literally by noticing and tracking them and not looking for them. Knowing that you're just living your life, you're doing what you normally would do, or what you're desiring to do, what you're being called to do that day, and you happen to notice these things, right? We're not scrolling on our phone trying to get the same angel number. If you happen to just come home and relax and scroll on your phone for 30 minutes every day anyways, then that's what you do. So that is how you identify angel numbers. So, excuse me. How do you not go insane? And how do you connect with your angels? So, one thing I will say, once you start paying attention to the synchronicities, the universe is like, okay, perfect, like they're getting it, let me send you more. Okay, it's almost like it's almost like a knob of intensity that you can turn on and off, right? So if you're a very stubborn individual like myself, you're gonna get hundreds of synchronicities a day, because otherwise you're just gonna ignore it or dismiss it. I'm very logical thinking as well. I really wasn't even spiritual until a few years ago. I was atheist for a long time. So for the universe to get me to have a spiritual awakening and to get me to believe in these things, it took a lot. Okay, this was not an easy journey for my angels. I mean, they did overtime for me, honestly, because again, I'm very stubborn. I dismiss things. I dismiss myself all the time. I mean, I work on it now, right? I've been doing therapy and shadow work and blah 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 blah. But back in the day, unawakened soul was very stubborn and didn't really pay attention to those things. So once you start connecting with your angels, you can ask them, hey, stop sending me so many signs. This is actually giving me a sign of worry. Or can you send me a sign to tell me what these signs mean? And get very specific with it. Well, there's two things you need to remember. The first thing is that your angels, your guides, universe, God, whatever you believe in, whoever you're working with right now, they are unconditionally loving, well-intended beings. They don't want to overwhelm you. And you can take this concept and take it upon, even if you're developing your spiritual gifts, right? I had a friend who told me that her guides were shaking her bed at night when she was as a sign to give her gifts. Or I had another friend who told me that her guides were making lights flicker and it was freaking them out. If this is truly an unconditionally loving being who is good intended and wants to help you in your journey, once you communicate, and it can be as simple as writing it down, having that thought, making that connection, lighting a candle, whatever makes you get in the mood, because your guides can hear your thoughts, they will stop or they will slow it down for you. Okay, if it's not, then you're dealing with something else, and there's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. Spirituality and how to deal with your gifts and how to not attract low level spirits and negative spirits and all that. That's a whole nother thing. We're not going to dive into that now because I could do a whole live miss episode on that, which we're not going to do here. But to kind of go back to it, one, your angels will stop sending you so much craziness once you're able to connect with them, right? And to give them that direct message. You have to be sure of what you want. And I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. Everyone has guardian angels. Everyone has psychic abilities, whether they're dormant or not, whether you believe me or not, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of fact, right? We are innately psychic beings, right? And telepathic beings is one of the main ways that we actually communicate. We just don't know how to exercise that muscle, and if you don't know how to exercise that muscle, it's kind of like learning how to write. If you don't know and you don't practice it every day, then you're never gonna know the true potential of that or grow that skill, right? Because it's like a muscle, an invisible energetic muscle, if you will. The hand scared you? Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think it's like a TikTok thing. I don't really know. And yeah, you have to exercise that muscle in order to get better, to acknowledge it, and to realize what it is and how to use it and wield it to your advantage, right? And how to control it. So one of the good ways to connect with your angels is by simply acknowledging their existence and asking them to work with you, because everybody has guardian angels, by the way, okay? And your angels are only going to intervene if you allow them to. They can't do anything unless you ask them to. Sometimes I do readings and I see people's angels looking so bored because I'm able to connect with people's angels and guides and their spiritual body and see where negative energy is within them and all that stuff. If you ever have a reading with me, you know that if I feel called to it, I will tell you these things, what guides are around you and all that thing. Everybody has a guardian angel. Connecting with your angels and what that they can mean, what they're helping you with, it just depends on where you're at in your journey. You can again ask for signs. You can ask them to send you, the right books, the right knowledge, the right whatever it is. Oh, that was the second thing. We need to acknowledge that angels, universe, they don't work on linear time. So you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're saying, I need a sign in the next hour, or I need a sign in the next month, because they don't understand. They don't operate in that, okay? As much as the 5D and the 3D work together, time is a concept, right? Or a construct, a human construct. So they're not going to go by your time. Okay, they're going to do whatever they need to do on their time, and it's not for us to understand. So don't put a time limit on yourself, but do ask for the signs and they will come to you. So yeah, acknowledging their existence, asking them to work with you. If something is overwhelming you, they will stop or tone it down. And building that connection. So you can build that connection through altars, journaling, meditation, but they can hear your thoughts. Okay, so you can be like, when you're meditating, oh my God, angels, thank you so much for being around me. How are you doing today? And then you have a conversation with them. Like, imagine if you know, went up to a stranger or someone in your life that you never really talked to and you just start asking them for things. How would you feel? You wouldn't feel that great, right? Okay. So, yeah. So everybody has guardian angels, and then there's angels that you can also call upon to work with you, like archangels, or angels that work with specific energies, right? So the energies of love and all those things. This is not all about angels, so we're gonna stop it right there. But if you guys want me to, I work heavily with angels. The angels helped me with my spiritual awakening and connecting me with my higher self and helping me along my own journey. So let me know if you guys want a whole episode or even video on just angels, maybe even a series, because we really could go that deep. Now I am going to read chapter 3 of my Twin Flame book. I'm only going to read a few pages, and I did include a section about synchronicities. So we're going to do that, and then finally we're going to do a prompt. So 3 questions that you can journal about right now to help you sink in the information that we just covered and to help you identify angel numbers, synchronicities, and what they mean to you in relation to your twin flame journey as well. All right, so synchronicities. Another interesting part about the twin flame connection is synchronicities and divine timing and how they're interconnected. These at first may seem like mere coincidences, but I can assure you that it is more than that. The universe is guided by everything you see. The main tools it uses to communicate are synchronicities and divine timing that will lead you to your twin flame. Keep in mind that if you see a random partner over and over again, it may not just be random. A mystical signpost along your journey, these synchronicities are carefully crafted to capture your attention and deliver messages from the universe. They may appear in a variety of ways, such as recurring patterns of numbers, the discovery of significant symbols, or the occurrence of events that may seem too perfect to be the result of chance. Many coincidences are not random, rather they are divine winks that serve as gentle reminders that you are on the right track and that the universe is assisting and directing you in your hunt for your twin flame. Some common synchronicities that you may experience in your day-to-day life include angel numbers, seeing your twins' birthdays, running into similarly looking people, seeing your twins' cars, favorite colors or foods, their names or initials popping up, and so much more. Excuse me. Keep in mind, synchronicities are put on your path by your guides, your higher self, your angels, and will be catered to you and your connection. So don't feel discouraged if you don't experience synchronicities exactly the way that they aren't or are mentioned here, or in the way that you see others portray their experiences elsewhere. So that's just a little section about synchronicities. We go way deeper in my book. Now, tomorrow's live is going to be all about Kundalini activation and twin flame connections. If you have no idea what the Kundalini activation or energy is, you are going to be pleasantly surprised, and it may resonate very deeply and may make you feel a little less insane because it's part of the journey. Everybody experiences this, okay? So get your pens out. Get your journals out. We're going to talk about, or I'm going to give you guys some prompts to help you. And by the way, the lives are every day at 12 p.m. Eastern time. If I'm late, I will let you guys know. Today is the first day this week that I made it on time, so pat myself on the back. Let's hope that tomorrow is the same. But I also have all the live topics pinned at the top of my TikTok account. All right. The first prompt is, what numbers seem to be showing up a lot in your surroundings? This can be street numbers, parking numbers, license plates, numbers in the books, numbers that you may wake up to at certain times, right? It can be a plethora of things. How do you feel when you see these numbers? So noticing how you're feeling when you see these numbers. What actions are you taking in that moment when you see those numbers, right? So are you shopping? Are you procrastinating, right? What thoughts are you engaging in when you see those? So sometimes we can be doing something and be in a completely different world in our mind, and our feelings can also be out of sync, or maybe they're together or not. So these are really the important things that you need to note so that you can find balance and better dissect what these numbers could mean for you. All right, you guys, I do have to go because I got a nail appointment, like I said. But it has been really nice doing this liveness episode with you guys. Thank you to everyone who joined. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and tomorrow we'll have time to do a Q&A. So if I didn't get to answer your question today, we're gonna, just hold it off for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I promise we will do a Q&A. But with all that being said, I'm gonna go finish this and get ready to go, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. And don't forget, the replay is gonna be posted on my YouTube tomorrow.